Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. So, Gemini, we are going to talk today. It's a new day. We are heading into Aquarius season, soon eclipse season, the real and specific kickoff of the fire horse year, right? The real new year. And I have a new setup, right? So you can see that there's a hand here, and this is where the cards will be displayed. And I really hope that this, gets you feeling a little bit more connected to the beautiful illustrations, not only of the cards, but how the process of reading is. Because there is always a way to divine messages, how they fall, where they fall, the nature of what cards they touch. This is a complete message board, and it is here to receive all things. One thing I want to note is that Aquarius season is not for the weak. There are tons and tons of astrological events, if you will. Almost everything is in conjunction at one point in time. Major players are Uranus, Pluto, Mars, and we have a hell of a Mercury retrograde. And because Mercury is going retrograde in Pisces, it's not enjoyable. It's just not enjoyable. Pisces is going to teach a lot of us about what we stand for and what we are willing to dissolve completely. And this process is not one that is full of pleasure. Identity is highly subjective, super specific and personal, of course, but releasing identity is how people get stuck. The tight grips of the conditioning for each of the identities that they hold true to their idea of themselves is really more of a reflection of what they think other people think of them rather than them themselves, right? So nothing is as constant as the state of change. We must allow for this at all times. Nothing can teach us that better than water signs, Scorpio and Pisces, respectively. So, that being said, if you have any interest in learning about your chart, you can easily use the link in the description box to build your chart on astro.com. It is free. If you have any questions, you're certainly welcome to write to me. The email is also in the description box. If you have any questions at all about personal readings, also the description box. So we'll just get right into it, Gemini. We're going to look at what is going on for you, what your sense of new beginning may look like, what you've been taking on, what you've been releasing. I'm going to use a few decks, but I'm just going to start with this traditional Waite Smith illustration to tell me. For Gemini, please. The Knight of Cups in reverse. The Empress. The Temperance. The Three of Cups. The Ace of Wands. Okay. Kind of a mixed bag about up and down cards. So look, if you can see that, this is a way in which Spirit speaks to me. There is always a card or several cards that will split. This is truly important. This is the Five of Cups. So there is some remorse here. There is some sadness. There is not seeing the whole picture with your mind's eye, with your emotional eye. This is being blinded in such a way that you can't see what is still available to you, what is still within your domain, what you still have access to, what you are still connected to. And I can see the general information here about this connection. The center of the reading is Temperance, and so you're doing your best to feel the blessings, to feel connected, to remember why you're here in the first place, to know that you'll get through it. I think that you're not down. Some of this may suggest some sadness, some disconnect, but I don't think you're down. I also don't think you are deriving strength from a place of true understanding. I think you're trying to just muscle your way through it. And sometimes life does ask us to muscle our way through it. Is that intelligence in an emotional level? No. Does it suggest that we need to find more growth and depth inside? Yes. So the Knight of Cups here suggests that the dream is gone. There was a dream. There was a hope for fulfillment. There was an offering. There was one person, as I see it, you deciding to put all of you in a cup, at least pieces of you, maybe not all of you. It could have been a small offering, but put pieces of you, your projections of the future, your dreams of what it is that you wanted to participate in, the sensations that you wanted to derive, how you wanted to connect, how you wanted to submit, how you wanted to surrender. And I can see that it was with respect to one particular person that you felt was worthy, and it also was something that you felt you were deserving of. You felt that this was precisely what you have been through everything up until this point because of this hope, but there's a disconnection here. There is no more offering, or what was being offered to you is no longer being received. And so it begs the question of worthiness. It begs the question of productivity. Did you fail it? Did you fall short? Did it get taken away from you? And if it got taken away from you, what are you supposed to be learning? What are you supposed to be transforming here? This is an internal process of what it means to, if I love myself completely and I want to show up in this world and call love into existence, why am I having this experience? Hello? Hello? Is this thing on? You want to be intimate. You want to celebrate. You want to have game nights, movie nights, make dinners. Let's have ice cream. Let's go for a walk on the beach. Will you hold my hand? Right? There's a very innocent way in which these two nature of cup exchanges are experienced, but very serious energies between, and they're in reverse. Ace of Wands is also in reverse. With the King of Wands here at the bottom of the deck, we can tell that there's nothing to hold on to, right? He's sitting in a throne. That's the Ace of Wands, but this is in reverse. There's nothing to hold on to. At least that is the mindset that the Temperance is trying to alchemize and transform. What can be held on to? Does this grow? Does this feel powerful in my hand? Does it birth something in me? So the main player, as we can see, so in my readings, the bottom of the card, the bottom of the deck is going to be a summary, synopsis, major player, if you will, main character, or the energy that is coming through for several characters, that the story involves others. But then these are the specifics. So what I'm realizing, or what I'm sensing, is that there is a King of Wands. This is the energy that I'm reading from you. King of Wands that doesn't understand what he's holding on to because the Ace of Wands is in reverse. That's the Gemini I'm looking at. The Gemini who feels a very particular way about a very particular person, aka the Empress. Now, that doesn't have to be male, and that doesn't have to be female. The Page of Cups. So there is some clumsy way in which one or both people were fumbled. And there is a new way in which this dynamic needs to express itself and show up. Hence the transformation and the alchemical experience at the center, guided by Temperance. And I say guided because Temperance is suggesting that this path that you are on, whether you dump your cup or stop your horse, is one that you are meant to be on. You are meant to understand what it means to be faced with rejection. You are meant to learn how it is to still find celebration and joy, regardless of what it is that you had hoped for with this Empress. And part of that is forgiving maybe yourself, your expectations, the expectations that you place on other people. Recognize that there is nothing that you can't get through. Remember, at the center of the cards, the center of the deck. The Five of Cups was what showed us the glimpse. And this is an important message because the Five of Cups is that 3 cups are definitely spilled, but 2 cups are still available. It's just that the perspective that the man on the card is looking at, or the vantage point that he holds, he can't see it. So much subjectivity, so much holding on, so much this happened to me, is present. There's an unwillingness to go with the flow in the Five of Cups. There's a wish for writing in stone emotionality. And that's not how emotions work. They're meant to move right through you. So that's the process of learning, right? That's emotional maturity. That's what the King of Cups brings. So the Page of Cups is the process that the King of Wands is undergoing right now. And that is really hard. First of all, the elements are not suggestive of cooperation, right? Fire, and then head of state, and then a low page of water. So, words need to be exchanged. And there you are, the Lovers alignment. Now, this is you coming into wholeness with you, facing some deep, dark thoughts, the Five of Swords. Sorry, my phone is going crazy. And manifesting again, or communicating what it is that came between you and this Ace of Cups with the Empress, right? So that's a little bit into the future. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's go into so with the Page of Cups here, it does suggest that in this fumbling, there is something that will be said. And I do believe that this is from you, Gemini. It's followed by your Power card. So I'm going to learn from the Akashic Tarot what it is that you're drawing down from, what's in the field for you that you might decide to communicate. Can I see this Knight of Swords coming from the King of Wands? Tell me, what does Gemini wish to communicate here? They're coming forward. Show me what it is that is needing to be said. Now, with the Knight of Cups in reverse, but the Page of Cups upright, you are ambivalent. You go back and forth. And then somehow, this suggests to me that at some point you make a decision. And this looks more like, fuck it. What else do I have to lose? I don't know. Can I see, what does this Knight of Swords need to say? The Akashic Fields. What else? Community. Yeah, you want to be close to someone that you love. That's basically it. You want to sit at a table. You want to be in the coziness of a home. The Queen of Roses and the King of Scrolls. That would be like, in this deck, the Queen of Cups and the King of Swords. You know, there's initiation here at the bottom of the deck. And I think this is important because the Akashic field is in reverse, right? And when you have the Akashic field in reverse, what we're talking about is that maybe there's a lack of intuitive connection, right? The way in which you could be working with your life force, the synchronizing with the universe, it's an idea that the universe is going to align with your desires. However, it's in reverse, which means that there's fragmentation. And because there's fragmentation, I want to bring our attention right here for the initiation. Queen of Cups, but the King of Scrolls. King of Wands, Knight of Swords. There is an erratic mix and match of elements that perhaps the situation doesn't call for, but then gets treated with, right? So plainly, this Page of Cups could be an emotional response that is actually to a different scenario. So just follow me for a minute. Imagine that what you have is a trauma. It doesn't have to be a huge trauma, but a trauma indeed that dates back to the first time that you felt rejection. And because it wasn't worked through and alchemized, now is your time to alchemize it. This Empress brings to you a chance to heal. But if the feeling of rejection triggers a response from an older, previous mindset, that is not in the alignment for growth with the Akashic field. That's why it's in reverse. Fragmentation is trying to intellectualize actions and words, trying to disassociate and separate from emotions, intimacy, vulnerability, and the impact of such co-regulation between two people, between friends, lovers, family. And the Queen of Roses would be such, like, very close to the Empress, nurturing, loving, caring, considering, a huge emotional bandwidth for understanding, wanting everyone to bloom, wanting to raise a beautiful garden. So the initiation is about, if community, Sangha, is important to you, fragmentation is crippling your chance to sit at this table in this coziness of this home. There is warmth here. There is availability. There is a welcoming here. But the Empress also knows her value. The Empress will not find a divine counterpart in a Page of Cups. So that's not possible. I'm going to go to the Osho Zen Tarot just to clarify the Temperance, nothing more. La culpabilité. So guilt wants to fly out. Let's go more. Can I see, please? What is Temperance doing here? There is something that needs to be transformed. There is something that needs to be understood. And is it guilt? Do you feel guilty? Does guilt make you feel small in such a way that you are powerless to transform the situation? Show me, please. Why is Temperance here? What is being alchemized? One more. This and this are not very different. They even have the same exact numbers. This is the initiation of Saint Germain, and this is Temperance. Both cards are number 14. Okay? Why is this important? Because it's you standing, one, before your foundation in such a way that you must change your foundation. Something about it is not working. We haven't seen the Tower yet, but I am not certain that we won't soon. Okay. So, sorry, the initiation of Saint Germain. This is, when this card shows up, it suggests that there is an enormous opportunity for evolution. Hermit is at the bottom of the deck. Let's go. Show me this feeling. The Temperance is here to alchemize, transform a situation. Can I see more clearly what it looks like, what it involves, how it affects Gemini? Ooh. Control fell on the table. I am not taking all those cards. No way. No way. Letting go. So clearly there is something from the past, like I said already, that needs to be let go. I'm going to put these here. I cannot. There's a lot there. Oh, look at these. So this could be a spousal situation because I have the Hierophant here. So this is la vacuité, and this is au de la delusion. These cards are in French, so don't be upset with me for my pronunciation. But this is a breakthrough. This is judgment. And this is the void. And they're both in reverse. And so what needs to be transformed is that you have to be okay, Gemini, with the unknown. The control. You can't control this. And that's getting in the way of you creating. There's the King of Wands. That's getting in the way of your peace, of the way in which your fire naturally moves. You cannot control the outcome and the will of someone that is deserving of love and has love to offer you. You cannot manipulate your way into divinity and connection, in the conscious choice of showing up for someone. You cannot manipulate your way to unconditionalities with respect to exchanges in love. Harmony is something that is shared and created together. And I don't say this because you're trying to control it. Because you think that you know better. I think that you try to control it because you're scared. I think that you don't recognize that fear immediately fragments you, such that you remove the emotionality, Knight of Cups, go home, and you initiate the Knight of Swords, because the King of Swords is who comes in. He's here 2 times. You decide instantly to cut yourself off from both your fire and your cups. As you notice, I don't have any pentacles on the table. All of this is a play between the head and the heart. The idea to take action or not take action based on what the mind tells the heart to feel and what the heart says, and the mind shuts down in the interest of control, because you'd rather not face the unknown. You'd rather not. And right now, what Temperance is asking of you is to have a breakthrough, to understand that the illusion of control is just that. Like security, for whatever sense of security you find by taking the actions that you do, it's all false starts. Now, is the King of Swords your main power? Yes. But am I talking to someone that maybe is a Gemini moon and you're truly a fire sign, or you're a water sign, and yet you have to process your emotions through a mental sieve, because this is what your childhood, what your upbringing took you to. You got hurt previously, so you know, I'm just going to process it logically. Okay. There is nothing wrong with using all the elements to your advantage. The only thing is that you're showing me a level of wished for experience with someone that you care about a lot, and it's not coming to fruition. because the Empress will definitely demand authenticity, vulnerability, power, and security. She will not put up with anything less. So if the Empress is demanding from you something that requires you to dig deep, and you'd rather just cut out that which you think logically, this makes more sense. I feel less of a stress response, so I'm disassociating, I'm separating, I'm fragmenting, I'm looking the other way. They're not even facing each other. She's there holding what looks like a rose, looking at the beautiful ways in which the flowers are fragile yet strong, push themselves open and bloom beautifully, freely giving their scent to the world. And he's got a piece of paper and books and scrolls, things that help him, define 90-degree angles. Hard lines. No meaning here. He's also got a gate behind him. So this is the way in which this card signifies something is blocked off for protection. I'm not saying that you should wing it in any capacity. I think the King of Scrolls or the King of Swords is essential for life. But in terms of emotionality, he does fall short. Now, you've shown up from the very beginning as the King of Wands, and here's your ace. So, let us understand this Ace of Wands from the Akashic. Now, this is Aquarius season. The Ace of Wands would be suggestive of a spring. Aquarius takes us a little bit closer to breaking the soil and having sprouts come on up, right? I don't know about you. I don't know about where you live. If you're facing snowstorms, very sorry about that. Or not, I miss a snowstorm, but at the same time, there are many places that never really go into full winter. So the cycle of growth is really specific to where you are geographically and where you are elementally. You can have a spring in the middle or an eternal summer in the middle of winter. There are ways in which you can generate your own growth, your own transformation, and break through your own bullshit. And that is, I think, what this season is asking of you. Instead of protecting yourself so faithfully, if you want to connect with someone that is truly important, ask yourself, what are you committed to? And if it's committed to understanding the unknown and something that you can't control and therefore place judgment on, then this connection, this intimate level in which you hope to receive and exchange, it's not possible. Nor is this big, bold sexual energy. So I want to touch on the Three of Cups and the Ace of Wands, please. I have the Lookout. Now, the way that the Lookout falls on the table is pretty important. One card only for both of them. Thank you. The Lookout falls with a man. I don't know if you can see this. So there is a man that is there on a ship. This is kind of akin to the tower in traditional tarot. And so here it is, as I had suspected, that the tower moment, you're having a very subtle tower moment. He's on a ship, it's on fire, and he's looking out. And so where the card has the man looking towards is pretty important for the next thing to address, the new foundation that's going to be created, what it is that needs to be developed at this time, right? Because we know 14, you standing before your foundation, learning completely and understanding, how is this foundation not working for me? How can I recreate it? Okay. This is the number 17. Standing before what area of construction needs my attention. 7 is development. And the Lookout is looking directly at the King of Scrolls and the Queen of Roses. And at the bottom of the deck, I have two worlds. This suggests that you are fragmented. It's two cards from the same deck, different explanation in different capacities, talking about fragmentation. When Two Worlds shows up, it states that there is one internal experience that you know, that you're breathing, living every single day, right? You wake up, you brush your teeth, the thoughts, the stream of dialogue that runs through you. This is your internal landscape and your spiritual experience, the soul that resides within this physical form that walks itself through the days, right? And then there's the personal success in the day-to-day. It's the way in which the environment receives you, the automobile that you drive, the weather that you go through, the food that you consume, right? Like the real physical, tangible items that you can touch, taste, and feel. And there is a conflict. When we have the two worlds, there is a conflict between what it is that you feel inside and what it is that you experience outside. And the conflict will continue to persist until you bring the spiritual into the everyday. Until you recognize that this person on your path brings healing and can help you transform the fears from your childhood that had to do with being fragmented in your closest community. Maybe there was some figure in the family that made you find disassociation as the only safe way. But it was an illusion. It doesn't give you more control. It makes you highly reactive and without a plan. And it keeps you disassociated and detached from meaning and finding control to be the only place. But look at him. There's no happiness in that. These hard right angles, right? Which do you find more appealing? The way you want to show up? The way you feel? The King of Wands? Or this box, which kind of looks like a transformer, right? Again, with that fragmentation, right? Like, what does a transformer do? It moves from a robot to a vehicle. And a transformer's like whole thing is that they have to fight. If you receive communication from the universe in the capacity of the element of water and emotions, and then you as the transformer controlling switch to swords, you have not responded accordingly, which is pretty much what the actual experiences of fragmentation is. Yeah. Fragmentation for the other person is like a jack-in-the-box, because you can say something to someone, and because of their fragmentation, when they respond to you, they're responding to something that you did not say. They are hearing something that you did not say. And there's nothing that you can do about that. Talking to the cross watcher. Okay, so at the bottom of the deck, you can see there's the Queen of Keys. A schism for connectivity and a rebirth. The Oracle of Delphi. Wait. The Queen of Keys. So the Queen of Keys is a woman that doesn't need anything from anyone. She's more practical. She's more going to approach life about abundance, wealth, prosperity, understanding. From her high perch, she has a need for nothing. And the same for the King of Keys. So I'm not I'm not sure why she's here. She does place limits on her experience. So is this a suggestion that you have placed limits on your experience? There's financial independence here, there's power, but there is definitely no camaraderie. There's no cup experience here. There's no sharing. And the Oracle of Delphi right underneath is, this is the Great Seer. It's not only the Great Seer, it's the first card of this tarot, which is to suggest that it's the Magician or the Fool. It's the way in which we have psychic power, the connection to spirit, and feel guided to move in this life. So these are the two aspects of your two worlds: independent, financial freedom, power, vision, but alone, connection to spirit, able to really bring in and interpret that which is your next move for your highest good. Let's learn the Empress's emotions, feelings, desires, intentions, okay? Let's learn a little bit more about her. Can I see the Empress, please? Can I see the Empress? Please. What do we need to know about this Empress for Gemini? What does Gemini need to know? If this King of Wands is going to take control here and be the vision that he'd like to see. I got a Four of Pentacles with the Ace of Pentacles trying to come out. I'm going to put them back in. Ooh, can I see this Empress? So Four of Pentacles to pop out with the Ace of Pentacles suggests that she is waiting in some capacity, because the Empress will not pursue. Okay, it means that she's holding on to some idea about this opportunity, whether she's thinking with disappointment about the missed opportunity, but still going to move on, or she's thinking, I'm really hoping that I get an offer. I don't know. Let's see. Boom. This is hard for her. It was hard for her. I don't really see it as hard anymore, but it was hard for her. There's a lot of disappointment there. There's a lot of time in considerations. There's a lot of deliberations. Is this love? It doesn't feel like love. I don't want to invest in something that doesn't feel like love. And why? We were supposed to build so much together. She's talking here about her efforts, 100% of effort. But she doesn't have anything to invest at this time. She had a lot of high hopes. There was a lot of conflicts along the way about the processes of things and working together and how to get started. What one thought was possible and what one thought they were capable of versus the other. Discrepancies and how to begin and how much to take on. And perhaps there's also a sense of distance between you two, or that there was a sense of distance, a necessary geographical distance to cover, right? Traveling to see one another. And then we have the Queen of Pentacles, which is not unlike the Queen of Keys. This is about the boundaries. Perhaps there were ways in which when you switched from cup energy, wand energy, to the King of Swords, Knight of Swords, sword energy, the barrier, the boundaries are put up. That you don't need anyone. You don't need anything. And that's the pain. That's what she felt. And then the cycle closed. King of Swords. She met you where you were. You want to be a King of Swords? I can also be a King of Swords. I'm the Empress. I just make a phone call and I will find my way. Don't worry. World with the Fool. That is a real completion of ending the cycle and also starting another one. But at some point, she sat in the Three of Pentacles with you. Right? That's the portal. You see those archways, the portal by which people move through to the next dimension of their experience in relationship, in collaboration. Because once you learn how to work together without inhibiting yourself or feeling super self-conscious or insecure, once you get a chance to really collaborate, you break through and evolve into the highest next level of what it means to show up, especially in the real world, with efforts, with craft, with ideas, with communication. This is mastering co-creativity, okay? And if there's one person that's going to help you do that in the best possible way, it's going to be the Empress. You had a chance here, Gemini. I need some advice for you. We're going to use this small vice versa deck, and we're going to learn who and what in this spread is important and why. Now, these cards are very interesting because they do not have a front or a back. They are always front and back. So when you shuffle them, I mean, everyone can shuffle however they want, but this is how I shuffle them. I just keep flipping them in different batches because that's, yeah, the shuffling is not like one would normally receive. Okay. All right. What do I need to know here for advice? What do I need to know for advice? Thank you. So all three cards, well, there's one over here, but three cards fell on top of Temperance. I have one card here. This is the Nine of Wands, resisting, Six of Wands, ego. Okay. The World. Okay. There's a lot to learn here. The world is not about punishment. Oh, this door closed. This world is about graduation. It's about lessons. It's about completion. In the Wheel of Fortune, we are spinning the wheel. We are constantly taking chances. Oh, this is an opportunity. Oh, let's go have this conversation. Oh, let's go to this party. Oh, let's take this job. Oh, let's submit this proposal. That's the wheel. Constantly finding luck and using the attitude of luck to take chances so that you can experiment. When the world shows up, this is how we graduate from all the chances that we have taken or didn't take. But we get to close that process, that procedure, and begin again. Okay? And so that is what I'm looking at. I told you at the start of the reading that we are going through an identity shift because we are shifting into what is the new year, the fire horse. Maybe you find some fire, right? Because you need to let the swords go. But also what you've been stuck on as a form of your identity. And maybe you've always said to yourself, maybe you've always said to your partners, I'm not dramatic. I don't like drama. I don't do drama. The person who doesn't allow for drama, for real communication, when things make you feel vulnerable, is the most dramatic in the relationship because it's with subterfuge, passive-aggressive behavior, and resentment that builds up over time that finds its way into the everyday. How you have the two worlds. Part of you is having one experience, and then outside you're having another. So, here we go, in this order. The Knight of Swords. We remember that he was here. The Knight of Swords, from the Empress to the Temperance. You see how the card is touching both. This is about transforming the way you speak to and with love. How you charge forward and create a bond, right? Because while the Knight is not known for diplomacy, he certainly has a message. And even though the King in you, King of Swords, as a defense mechanism to save the child within you, thinks logically to avoid the void, The night does not need to be carried out. You can have these thoughts from the King of Swords. You can find the logical way to separate yourself, but you do not need to communicate with the Knight of Swords to the person that you love from a place of pain and fear and control. That's number one. Number two, Six of Swords in reverse. We know this is a transition card. We know that this is a card of leaving something. Chaos, confusion, trying to go find calmer solution. It's about mental perseverance, right? But this card is in reverse. It's returning, touching the Knight of Swords, returning to the last time you said something to the person that you love that made them feel completely disconnected, and that you didn't have a long-term plan and vision, and that you didn't care, and that they didn't mean anything to you. That's what that means. Seven of Wands in reverse. The hyper-defensive way in which you behaved, thinking that you were leveling up, controlling yourself, demanding your authority. You also return to that, recognizing that maybe the battles that you chose were not the wisest decisions you've ever made in your life. Now over here, Six of Pentacles, which I want to talk about bringing back the day-to-day, the everyday personal success. It's in reverse, which means something is not balanced. And what is not balanced? The Knight of Cups in reverse. How can you tell us here in this reading that you are the King of Wands and there's a strong desire for Three of Cups, Ace of Wands to balance out with Temperance in the middle, but you don't have your Knight of Cups upright? Well, you can't receive this upright if this isn't upright. If your cup is completely falling, spilling to the ground, you have nothing to offer in this exchange. Right? The world. The world. There's a way in which you balance out the dark and light of your experience. Nine of Pentacles. Being completely confident and capable. Some of the insecurities that you have felt are in the moon, right? Look at this card. The insecurities that you have not yet faced for a long time, they are not yours as an adult. They are yours as a child. These insecurities cripple you from behaving in a very independent, resourceful way when it comes to matters of emotional connection. And it's felt. It's felt in your emotional connections. And when you start to do that, like feel that you are not worthy or that the other person is going to hurt you, and so they're not worthy, all of what it is that you are working towards is in conflict, and you cannot start. And then you try to protect yourself, then there's pain, and then you close it out. I'm going to say with the world here twice, this is not the first time that you've gone through this experience, stopping things before they begin. Because here's the King of Swords, and there's the Fool. You stopping things before they begin is how you've claimed peace, but you've walked away from your success and your soul connections. So this is the process of not only recognizing what your value is, but also your stamina, your endurance. Using a weapon like the sword of truth, thinking that you know exactly how something is going to turn out based on fear crippling your thoughts and projections, because the void is real. That doesn't make you clairvoyant. That doesn't make you the Oracle of Delphi. That makes you scared, fragmented, insecure. So there is a chance for you to go deep. This revelation is transformative. That's why there's the butterfly there. So I'm going to ask last cards advice from the Osho Zen, only because I find them truly profound. I hate that I have to speak in French to say them to you, but we do what we can here, facing our discomfort or uncomfortable moments. Advice for Gemini. Advice for Gemini, please. Advice for Gemini, please. Here we are. The Page of Pentacles. All you have to do is take one thing, just one thing from this experience to find a consistent approach to do differently. Eight of Wands. Again, you might need to travel, talk to whomever it is that you need to talk to, whoever you think that the Empress is. Okay, first message. After, take one thing, Page of Pentacles. I've got l'émission, la politique. This is the sun, and this is a mask. This is bring brightness, bring awareness, consciousness to where you wear a mask to cover yourself, to protect yourself, where you lie, where you would rather be seen as great than actually become great. The compromise and the control. Again, the King of Swords, but this time in reverse. And when this Six of Pentacles shows up, it's upright, and this is about a balance. This is about not compromising yourself. Don't compromise the totality of who you are by thinking control gives you a step up, a leg up. You cannot fake your way through it. You cannot wear this mask and think that people won't feel the inauthentic way in which you approach. This innocence is required. This playfulness is required to find balance with people that you love. This adventure is all colors. And you must be childlike. There it is, love and wood, over the Page of Cups. So I hope that something has been helpful for you here. I know that it's a hard message, but I have faith in you that you will find your fire as we go through this Aquarius season. Yes, Aquarius is an air sign, and it's fixed. But it is also about the collective greatest good, the greater good of everyone, not the personal truths. Recognizing that every unique truth adds to the whole. And Temperance is about establishing a greater connection with the center of your being, fire. That there is nothing that you cannot get through. There is nothing that you have as an experience that is not meant for you. To be loved is to be seen. Okay? I leave it there. Ciao, ciao.